What's up guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel for another how-to video on BMX bikes. In this week's episode we're going to be covering how to do a manual brakeless. So the manual, guys, on BMX is actually a real key element of your riding career, because believe it or not, you actually use the techniques in a manual in other tricks without even realizing it. So the better you get at manuals, the better you find your balance point, the more transferable skills you have for other tricks that you might want to learn and progress onto. So, and also it is a really cool way of just getting around the skate park without having to like stop, start. Plus, you don't even need a skate park to learn this. Like, I didn't have a skate park, so we're going to take it right back and I'm going to teach you guys exactly how I learnt myself. So obviously I'm riding brakeless, I have no brakes, so you might see a lot of riders that do manuals, you know, they tether their brake to help with their balance point, but because we've got no brakes, we are purely reliant on self-balance. And yeah, I think it's a little bit more of a skill level involved than using your brake. So, but we're gonna get there. I'm gonna get you guys through it, and you're gonna be manualing all up and down your street. It's gonna be absolutely sick. So stay tuned for this video. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, I'm dropping a how-to video every single Tuesday. So let's go. You don't even need a skate park to start learning this trick. You just need a BMX bike and a solid surface to be riding on. So for me, when I started learning how to do manuals, back when all I had the BMX for was to get to and from the shop, to and from school, literally just riding down the street, I'll just try and pull up the front wheel and see how long I can hold it, and just literally practice, and over time you start to develop the sweet spot, as we call it, which is basically your center balance point. And yeah, which is rad. So you don't need a skate park, you can literally do it on flat ground. Then obviously as you progress through learning how to do manuals, you can hop onto things into manual. I've got a bowl behind me, I'll show you guys how to manual around a bowl. It's a super steezy way of riding, and obviously there's some riders that literally perfect the manual so much that you don't even need to learn anything else. You can literally go to a skate park and manual absolutely everything and be an absolute boss. So learn the manual with me, let's go. So for those of you that are completely new to the whole BMX game, or the biking game in general, you will all know what a wheelie is, and if you don't, it's obviously where the front wheel up is and you start pedaling. So the manual is the new school way, where the front wheel goes up but you don't pedal, it's purely balancing. So when you're starting out doing the manual, literally you pull up on the bars like that, and obviously as the bars come back, your weight goes back. So you're pulling up, your weight goes back, but not too far back, else you're going to loop out like that. And if you don't do it enough, you're just lifting the front wheel up and it drops back down. And that, and a combination of speed, equals a manual. So that's the formula. You find the balance point with some speed and you're going to be manualing for days. So tip number one, pull up on the bars with a bit of speed, 2 to 3 cranks going down the street, and that will see you to go a couple of meters or so. And then obviously you need to find that balance between pulling up and speed, because you don't want to be, if you don't have your balance point, you don't want to be going Mach 10 down the street and looping out backwards. Although you can jump off the back and land on your feet, but when you're going fast, things get sketchy. So just consider the speed to balance ratio. So 2 to 3 cranks, give it a good pull, and as you pull up, your whole upper body goes back and you start to then balance the bike with your knees and your hips. So you're doing that kind of motion forwards and backwards. So obviously if it's not pulled up enough, you need to pull back even more with your hips and your bum. And then if you pull back too much, you bring it in. So if you go too far, you bring it in. If you got enough, you go back out. And then in between there is your balance point. So that is basically all there is to doing a manual, and it is literally practice. Because for me, it was a really frustrating trick for me to learn. Obviously just going up and down the street, pulling up, it was never working for me, and obviously I just carried on going and just persistent with it. And literally I woke up one day and I was doing the sickest manuals, and ever since then I've been able to do decent manuals. So stick with it, you will get there. Just even if you're just going to the shop, just pull up on your bars, do a quick manual. It all adds up to the practice that it takes to get to find your balancing point. Because obviously, when you're like this, you're going to be balancing. So if you pull back too much, you go in. If you pull back not enough, you go back out. And that's how you find your balance point. And obviously try and stay as straight as you can. You need like fixed references to track your progress with it as well. So hence why I learned in a car park. So we're going to finish this video in a car park. So going back down memory lane for me. So you need a start and a finish, and obviously the finish in essence keeps forever moving backwards. You never finish really, you just keep progressing throughout the manual. So right guys, so if you want to start turning in manuals, so you do literally everything you've already learned to manual straight. The only difference is now, if I want to turn right, I'm going to drop my right side, and that's going to bring the bike over to the right. If I want to turn left, I'm going to drop the left side, and it's going to start to go to the left. And obviously the tighter you drop it, the tighter the turn, and the less you drop it, the mellower the turn. So obviously your eyes are always focused on the direction of travel that you want to be going in. So if you're going straight, your eyes are literally looking past your front wheel, so you can see the front wheel in your vision, but you're looking past it, so you can always see what's coming. So if you do need to turn, you already know in advance sort of how much you need to turn. So it then becomes a sixth sense on manualing. So there we go, you've just learned how to do a manual. Rock on, let's go. So guys, when approaching to do the manual, moderate speed, my start point is here, full back and balance. Yeah? Right guys, so just be aware, if you pull back too much, you're going to need to jump off the back and land on your feet. And obviously, if you don't pull back enough, all that's going to happen is your front wheel is going to come off and it's going to drop back down. We're at a skate park filming this video, and if like me you didn't have a local skate park when growing up riding bikes, don't worry about it, it's not the end of the world, because you can learn this literally anywhere. So we're going to go to the streets just like I did when I was learning it, so we'll see you there. Let's go. Yes then guys, so let's carry on with learning how to do a manual. For you guys that don't have a local skate park, I know what it's like. I've been there myself, and I've spent many hours in one of these multi-story car parks learning how to do a manual. So I'm going to take it back to how I started to show you guys how you can get started. No excuses, we're going to learn how to manual whether you've got a skate park or not. So let's go. Obviously when going to a car park, it goes without saying, obviously manualing empty car parking spaces, because you can't do it when there's a car in there, obviously. But anyway, yeah, so the reason why I say car park is just because it's like evenly spaced, divided space. So obviously you can start with one car parking space, lift it up at one line, drop it at the other, and then obviously progress from there to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to doing the whole row. And then you've just mastered doing a manual in a straight line. And then it's even better once you get to doing straight lines if you turn and come back around the way you came. So let's do a few manuals, I'll show you guys exactly what I mean. Let's go. Literally you start by just doing one space at a time. So we're going to pick this space here, we're going to pick it up, manual, and drop it. And then obviously the further you go, the more speed you're going to need. So we're going to go back round again, we're going to go a little bit faster and pull up the exact same amount. So a little bit faster, pull up the same amount, and I've just done 3. And that was with pulling the same amount. So speed combined with pulling back gives you the recipe for doing a manual. Now obviously if we want to go further, we need to find that balance point. So we pull back a little bit more and we balance with our knees. Mind that fence there. So guys, the key element in manualing, remember, if you can, keep your torso, your upper body nice and rigid, nice and strong. Make sure you lean back when you're doing the manual. As you pull back, it's all one fluid motion, and from the waist down, that's where your balancing comes from. So your hips, your bum, your top part of your legs all want to be shifting back, and they want to be moving backwards and forward to find that manualing spot. So that is the key element to doing a manual. And remember, a little bit of speed as well, just to get you going, just to carry the momentum, because you're not allowed to pedal. As soon as you pedal, it's not a manual anymore, it's a wheelie. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, guys. No excuses. I want to see manuals wherever you are, whether it's down your street, whether it's down a local park, whether it's down a local skate park. No excuses, guys. You're going to learn how to do a manual with me. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for next week's video, because I'm about to film it. It's going to be how to hang 5. So let's go. Full send. See you in the next one, guys. Peace.